the usual cringe stuff. I got cheated on, and I was like, damn. And instead of it, they called me very skinny at the time because I weighed like 75 pounds, I think, in my freshman year.
What?
Yeah, I was really skinny.
Whoa.
And yeah, after that, I was like, well, I'm gonna make sure you can't ever have me. And that was my mindset at the time, to then find out she never wanted me to be with.
Oh
But
my
I was
God.
already too far on my I was already too far on my journey to stop. I've
Dude,
been at
that's
it for
hilarious. Like,
8
did you
years
just start
now.
going and like it became an
Yeah.
addiction for you? Like you just like
I
had to hit the gym?
My hero was like really big for me, and like you saw a nobody go to a somebody, and you were like, shit, bro. And all it took was hard work. I feel like I could do that. So I just went and I never stopped going. I had to take a
Hell
break
yeah.
for the first time this for a month because my car blew up, but
Whoa.
that was my first like break for longer than a week in just about 8 years.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. So I've been in and out of the gym. Like high school, I was in like the best shape ever. I was doing multiple different sports. I had the advanced PE class where you're doing a workout every day on top of it. Like absolute best. You hit college and it gets a little bit harder because you got other responsibilities. I was working 1 to 2 jobs the whole time, but still trying to find time to do
Yeah.
it. Then 2019, I tore my rotator cuff in throw.
Ugh,
Didn't have the insurance to get the surgery. Like
that's such a
completely torn.
nasty injury.
It was off the bone, and the doc's basically like, you need to get surgery on this. And I was like, I bet. So all I did was physical therapy. I did massage. I did yoga on it. I was as
Oh,
light as I could possibly be, and like ever since I've been repairing it. I was at the point where I couldn't even do a push-up anymore. Like so much
ugh.
atrophy had happened to that side of the body, that shoulder, that it just didn't come back. But after like forever, after just the longest recovery you could possibly imagine, I got it back.
Mhm.
Now I'm
Oh,
up to the
that's
point
so
where like I'm
nutty.
doing like sets of pull-ups, sets of push-ups, and it's just
That's
like, yo,
good.
it took forever, but we did it.
It's hard, man. I'm surprised you got past that. I broke my elbow when I was a kid, and like even then you'll see people do like sets and they'll teach you how to do it. And I've had some people a long time ago walk me through everything, and even then the sets don't feel right, even with proper form, because there's just like a permanent difference. And
hmm
because a rotator cuff is so nasty. Have you done like bench at all, or do you just do calisthenics?
Bench was one of the ones that took me the longest to get back to because you're used
Yeah.
to doing, 45 on each side, putting that up. But I was at the
Hmm.
point where like even the bar was too heavy. And it wasn't because the pecs weren't there,
Yeah.
it's because that rotation through the shoulder just couldn't manage it.
Yeah.
So I'd seriously be sitting there next to these giant gym bros with nothing but the bar and just sitting there struggling to get 5 over and over and over again until I'm finally back up to something reasonable. But yeah, dude, bench was one of the ones that took the longest to come back.
I hit 225 one time, a singular time. I hit one rep of it, and I stopped benching after that. Just to say that I could, and I switched to dumbbell. I can't, man. It feels uncomfortable. It never drives right. You're always shaky. Even with proper form of arching your back and driving through your lats and having it up on like your
Mhm.
upper back and just fully pushing through the movement, it always feels like ass to me. But dumbbell is perfect. So I just go heavy on those and hope for the best.
What blows me away is you get those giant behemoths, those NFL players, who are
Oh
doing
yeah.
225, 40, 50 times a pop. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
A lot of
Yo,
those
what are you made of?
a lot of those players have like a lot of like private like chefs and stuff, and a lot of like private everything, and every bit of their life is monitored and worked on, and it's worked on in the way to give them the highest testosterone possible along with being athletic. And sometimes they juice, sometimes they don't, sometimes they stop short. I mean, like the entire fitness industry in celebrities is juicing. Like almost every single one of them are. Like
Yep.
there's
I
no
mean,
way
they
The
have to.
Rock
They're
and
going for
John
the
Cena
role.
isn't.
Right? Dude,
They're
those guys are made of Mexican supplements.
they scare the shit out of me. They are big ass people. Like no human show to get like that. I mean, like the Trend twins, they're smaller than me, and like I think I'm 180 right now, and they are 2 to 3 inches shorter than me, and they're 210 natural, like lean,
Oh
not
my
natural, but
God.
like,
Whoa.
testosterone injections will take you to the next level.
It will.
I'm just
Well, outside of that,
against
what
it.
are some of your tips for like what are some of the ways to get the most benefit out of going to the gym?
Oh shit. If you're starting out, I recommend compounds. A lot of people are against that because they think you should just start a healthy schedule. But like you need to work on your whole fucking body. Like pick up squatting, pick up bench, pick up like all things that work your main muscles, and then hit individuals afterwards. Pull-ups are fucking great if you want to do it at home. Pull-ups and push-ups are the bread and butter. Just do squats, push-ups, and pull-ups. Once you're able to do 10 of them, then you can get fancy. Because a lot of people don't know how. A lot of people start on their knees and stuff, and They can't go where they want to go. So they're always like, oh, I'm too weak enough. I can't even do a push-up. It's like start on your knees, start light, do 3 to 4 sets, do it for a month. You'll be able to do a push-up easy. You'll be able to go from there. I recommend compounds or full bodies for your first month or two when you're getting into the gym. Then you can pick up a normal one because you're ready to go.
Yeah, the biggest gainer that I've ever seen IRL, like one of my friends who just got big real fast, believe it or not, he was doing the One Punch Man workouts. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 10K run.
Like running is crazy. No one talks about running. I mean, because everyone's like, I don't want to run. And I did track and field back in high school, and I splintered both of my shins, and they're still like destroyed. No. But it's like, oh my God, running is the perfect workout. Not jogging, not walking like they tell you. Running is perfect. It builds core. It builds all of your legs. Running a mile, to get the same burn on a bike, you have to do 3 miles on a bike to get the same burn of 1 mile while running. So it's 4 times the effort for somebody who could do it all the time.
Are you talking like redlining, like you give everything you have for that 1 mile, or are you talking about like 3, 4, 5 miles pacing yourself?
I'm talking about like if you just get a good steady pace, like air quotes on jogging, like, not sprinting, but like, keeping a nice heavy jog, one that really makes you feel like you're being worn out. You do that for about a mile, and there is nothing that'll beat it. It's the ultimate cardio.
Gotcha.
When I'm feeling lazy, I'll do the stairs machine though. Won't even lie.
Yo, my girl's all about those stairs. She wants those thick thighs, and that's how she wants to get them. But as far as workouts go, I try to find. Do you believe in the whole push and pull argument that you should do 1 day of push, 1 day of pull?
I have push and pull in my workout, but I have push pull legs, upper body legs. I believe that you should hit every muscle at least twice in a week.
Gotcha. And now are you thinking like 3 sets, 10 reps? Where are you as far as those go?
I do 2 to 3 sets of failure. I go heavy enough for me to go past 5 or 6 reps, and then I go until I can't.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're aiming like that 5 to 6 reps. So you're going pretty heavy, kind of maxing out. I would imagine you're taking it slow too. These aren't just like you're repping it. You're kind of really feeling it through the stretch of the exercise.
Yeah, I also recommend because a lot of people start. I mean, Sam Sulek really changed the game with how much he did until failure, and then a lot of people started like really. It's been around before then, but a lot of people really picked it up with Sam, and since he did that, I picked it up. I didn't even train like that before, and the numbers I hit now are entirely different than they were before.
Really?
Yeah, you just get strong mad fast. The heavier you lift, the stronger you become to get to it, and then once you hit 8 or 10 reps, you move up to the higher weight, and you just keep going.
Gotcha. You're running that till failure. I get it. And so you're going to go up weight and then go back down to your 5 to 6 reps.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'll start light at first because you need to make sure you have good form. Lifting heavy and ego lifting never helps. I mean, you can if you want to get strong, but you have a higher risk of injury like that. So I don't even recommend it. Get good form while heavy.
That's what I'm avoiding these days personally. Is like after coming off of an injury, you're like, yo, I will take my time. Showing up is all I got to do.
It's weaker
but
for you.
One thing I've been listening to was hypertrophy. Andrew Huberman's got a lot of research on that, and specifically the relationship between hypertrophy and muscle growth itself. Not necessarily lifting more, but bigger volume. Do you think there's any credence to that? Like, are you aiming at hypertrophy these days?
I don't anymore, but when I started out, I did. I mean, shit, I got really shredded like that. I mean, I was probably the most shredded of my whole life like that. I mean, I think I was like 160 pounds, but I was rocking maybe 7 to 8% body fat. And it was pretty good. I mean, it's just one of those things though where workouts take forever. And you're not having fun. You look at the other dude next to you and you're like, God, bro's lifting so much fucking weight. I want to do that. And I'd rather be big as fuck than work on those things. I want to be able to apply things. Like crunches have no fucking use at all. There's no applicants to it. You can't ever use it. You don't do anything even remotely. But they recommend it to build abs, but as soon as you need your core for something, it doesn't fucking work because you didn't build your core in a way where you can use it. I think building muscle, how you should use it is the most efficient way. I don't want to bench 225 and then something falls on me and I can't get it off.
So you all about that functional movement too, like that real life practical thing. So you're just out there picking up bricks.
I prefer functionality and aesthetics, so I gotta train for both.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was telling my dad about my workout schedule, what I'm doing for that. My dad's one of those like blue collar guys, hard worker, always hit the ground. Never seen the inside of a gym because he's never needed it. And like he's bragging to me about how he was putting in a retaining wall and how like he had to lift like a brick that was like, I don't know, 10, 15 pounds, like 500 times. And sometimes it was all the way up over his head, over his shoulder. He's like, yeah, that's probably more than you've ever done in the gym.
Probably. Won't even lie to you.
All right, bet, Pops, bet.
It's hard to argue. Blue
But yeah,
collar
man.
workers have crazy strength.
Dude, they do, right? Like, what do you do these days? What's your occupation?
Well, right now, I just work at a wash, and I'm working on going to trade school for electrician work. And then after that,
Hell
if
yeah.
I still have some money left over, I doubt it. But if I do, I'm going to do welding. Because I tried welding this weekend, and oh my god, it's fun, dude. It's so much fun.
You love it?
Oh yeah. I thought it'd be really fucking boring, but like when you get there and like you see everything just like really heat up, and you have a fucking mask, and like you hear the noise, oh my god, it just checks every light for anybody who has autism. It's so much fun.
What kind of stuff would you want to do? You thinking like industrial, like structural?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I complain as long as I live my life. I just want what pays the most and that does hard work. I don't want to sit there and do nothing, but I also don't want 90-hour weeks, you know?
Yeah.
I'm willing to put in the work, but, you know, I got to have a little bit of me time.
A buddy of mine went into welding, and I got to say, it's paying off. He is making high six figures. Like, he is out there balling. But it's taken his soul from him. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those guys who has to go on a project. He'll be gone for 3 months in, like, Alaska, right? Away from, like, family, friends, everybody.
Oh, my God. Fuck,
and, like, it just kills his body, too, because he's always in the worst of angles, the worst places, being suspended from things. Like, he tells me about it. I was like, yeah, no thanks.
Being rich is worth it, but if you can't use your money, then there's no point in being rich.
Yeah. How about it's a goal, not the goal, right? There's other things that's got to be nested in, man. But that's cool that you're doing that. So you're not going the whole college lie route kind of thing. You're really thinking trade school is more for you?
Well, see, I'm 21 right now. So I went to college, and I graduated high school with a 3.8 GPA, which isn't the best, but it's definitely not, you know, nothing to like blink at.
Bro, it's stellar. 3.8 is pretty stellar.
And, you know, I had like maybe 8 extra credits because I did summer school every year, and I got ahead, and I took extra classes where I could, so I didn't have to do them new the year. And instead of just taking an off day, I did more classes. I went, school was the only thing I was good at. Like, besides the gym, it was just school. I could take notes. I never had to study. I aced everything. I went to college, and I failed every class. Like, every single class. I just couldn't.
Was it like a lack of motivation?
I don't know. College is such a different environment. Like, people who can go and be good students is different. I mean, like, that mentality of, well, I can get it. You know, I've never had to do anything before. The idea of putting in more effort was just like, why the fuck would I do that? I never fail. And you know, you get really humbled and you fail. Not taking notes is fucking impossible. trying to skimp over the schoolwork and turn in late does not work. Like, you have to be on top of your shit, and I prioritized other things. Like seeing my friends. I was finally living alone. Oh, I get to sleep in. I don't want to go to class today. You just start diving, and you can't get out of it.
Yeah, in many ways, it's kind of the dream. So, like, did you move out, like, to a campus, and, like, we're living out there?
Yeah.
Basically, the dream. Partying, probably. Having just the homies over all the time. Not thinking about class, not thinking about school. You don't need notes. You don't need to study for that test.
I'm a pretty boring kid. I won't even lie to you. I had my first drink in October. I don't really drink. I've never have. I waited till I was 21, and I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do parties. A lot of sounds. That makes me sound like such a virgin. A lot of high school and college being on VR chat. That's what a lot of it was. I was, and I never left my room. That was how it was. I only left my room to class and the gym. I had a girlfriend at the time, so, you know, I had been with her since high school, so that was where most of my time was. No reason to go out and party if I already have something at home.
Bro, I would not have guessed that about you. Not at all.
Really?
Not for a minute would I have thought that would have been you. I thought you were like just impressions, you know, like just kind of seeing you hanging out the little bit that we have. You, to me, always struck as like the life of the party. The guy who was like, you know, inviting everyone over, super extroverted, like, hey, it's Shellbie, he's walking in.
I certainly am that guy, but I just don't do it with like substance, you know? I feel like you can have a great, like, dude, those times where we're a kid and you'd bring all your friends over and you'd do multiplayer stuff in your room. Oh my god, that shit's so fun. Like, we had the whole gang over, and I'll watch them drink and stuff, and that's fine. I drink now, but I don't do it too much. My family struggles with addiction, and I don't want to fall into it. So yeah, that always kind of scared me away. But, you know, it's not as bad as I thought it was now. But
what were the games that you would play with your homies when they would come over? What were the go-to for you guys?
A really big one was Minecraft. Minecraft was always
Nice.
that, dude. And I think as I got older, Call of Duty was a really big one.
Hmm.
But I was locked in a room for a long period of my life, so I never really got to
Was
do
that
all that stuff
self-imposed
until
or was
high
that
school.
like parenting? Like where did that come from?
Divorced family issues, blah blah blah, not knowing how to handle certain things, and then bad things happen. I don't want to say too much because it's like my parents made mistakes and they don't do that shit anymore, and I have no beef with them. They're the loves of my life. So, but yeah, I missed out on a lot of stuff because they were trying to protect me, and
Oh
so I
God.
I never had my first sleepover until I was like 16.
Oh my God, dude, you're hitting me right in my childhood. I want to cue in on that for a minute because that's something I totally relate to. Like, I don't know how much you want to share. Don't feel like you have to overshare.
Yeah.
But like, I was 6 years old when my parents got a divorce, and it was the ugliest kind of divorce you could have imagined. They hated one another, hated one another.
Yeah.
Dad fell in love with the bottle. Right, that was after his mom died. My grandma died when I was 4, so he started hitting the bottle hard, and he just never really came back. My mom was like trying to be super mom at that point, but was overbearing and like emotionally
Yeah.
abusive because of how much she hated my dad. And I reminded her of that. So both houses, no
Yeah.
matter where I was, wasn't a good environment. And I
Oh yeah.
realized I had to do a lot of raising for myself rather than like learning anything from my parents.
Yeah. I mean, oh shit, dude, that's crazy. I don't meet too many people like that. Yeah, that's exactly how it was. Not my dad didn't fall in love with like substance or anything like that though. My dad's always been a really good man, and he remarried, and my mother is a lovely woman as well. There was just different people who didn't like each other, and because of that, they didn't like me. And
Mm.
when they remarry, things are always tough. So I've solved all those issues. Time heals all wounds and all that. But you talk it out, you learn, you figure things out, and then you move on.
So one thing I've noticed from this community, VR chat, TikTok, is there's a lot of kids right now going through those divorce stages with their parents. And
Yeah.
one thing I've heard a lot echoed is they're in the thick of it right now. They don't want that relationship with their parents. They can't wait to get out. They can't wait to be on their own and never see them again. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk at all what it was like for you to go through that journey of that adversity, that resentment that you probably harbored to the point where you are now, where you have like a restored relationship with them?
God, I'm sure you feel the same way, but when you were in that kid stage, it was like, God, I just want to get out of here. Like, I'm gonna do all this shit when
Yeah.
I'm on my own. And you realize on your own is like a lot fucking harder than you thought it would be. A lot of people had to go through that the hard way. I was very blessed not to. I heard you had to go through that the hard way when it comes to doing things on your own. And you do grow out of it. Some people don't get the chance to grow out of it though. But I always recommend they wait, try to solve things. If you genuinely believe they're beyond cause, then leave and don't talk to them ever again. If they come back, they realize their mistakes. But if you can't make them realize it, then there's nothing more you can do.
Yeah, at some point it's a lost cause. Like I got some homies who their parents are like in prison for like murdering people,
Ugh.
and it's like, well, that you can't do anything about that, especially if even in prison they ain't changing their ways. But for the vast majority, I just would like to call everybody like a lot of the resentment that you harbor towards your parents. This is something I realized personally is a disdain for the future they have deprived you of, the opportunities they have robbed you of because of their lack of parenting, their negligence in many senses. And the way to counteract that, the antidote to that, is to go out and become those things you didn't think you could be. To go out there and live that fulfilling life, to go out and achieve those things that
Hmm.
would be such an obstacle for you otherwise. And like, once you get to that point and you realize that your parents were doing their best with what they had, and you can still achieve your dreams, like all of that resentment disappears overnight. That stuff just
Yeah.
evaporates. Like you're just like, hey, we're all human beings. We're all trying our best. And even though things weren't perfect in the past, I'd be a fool to let that resentment rob me of the future I could still have with you.
Yeah. I mean, God, you know exactly what I'm talking about too. Like you see, because when I was locked in my room for all that period of time, I had an Xbox and I had movies, and I'd go to the library and I'd get movies and books and I'd bring them back, and that was all I really had in terms of interactions outside of school. And I would go in and out of that period in time, and I would learn all that I could so that I could be good with people, and it paid off. But you always look at your parents like, why the fuck weren't you what I needed? Why did you? And you realize, like, it just kind of hits you that it's like, oh, you don't grow up and figure shit out. Like, they still have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and raising another human being is
Mm.
mad hard, and it just makes you feel like,
Mm.
like shit for even hating them.
Yeah, absolutely. And what what were some of the driving factors that kept you from going out and experiencing things? What were some of the things you felt like you've missed out on being quote unquote like locked in that room?
And it's so stupid to say, but like, because gaming's such a big part of my life, my parents refused to let me have mature games. Like, I grabbed Destiny at the end of Destiny 1. I was not, that was like my first taste at like a shooter game besides Battlefront 1. Like, those were my introductions, and then I'd go to other people's houses and play those other games to get away with it after, we started coming out of that phase. And God, dude, I wish I was there for Call of Duty. I really do. I played Overwatch instead, but that's because I wasn't allowed to have Call of Duty, man. I think that whole Call of Duty experience people talk about, like those games that you grow up with, everyone's like, that's my childhood. Like, I just never got to experience that. It's cool though, because they get to all watch me play it now, and they're like, dude, you're gonna love this, and I get to experience it, and it's like great, and I get to have to do it with people. So I didn't miss out per se. I just wish it happened when everyone else happened, so I could have that sense of nostalgia.
Gotcha. So like during all of this, I get family was hard and you were trying to figure yourself out at home, but like what was your friend group like at that point?
Oh shit. My mom had raised me to always be kind to others. Like, it didn't matter what, even if you were struggling, helping others is all that matters. And I was like, I can do that. And so I picked a lot of the weird kids that really like sat alone. And I kind of just bunched them all together. And then we were close. None of them they all went down different paths. But, at that time, I was locked because it was middle school to freshman, sophomore year-ish. In all of elementary school, but it was like, you could kind of geek out over the stupid stuff, anime, because anime was so fucking cool when you were locked in your room, so fucking cool. All these big somebodies doing stuff, it was like, God, I gotta be just like that. And, the kids who watched that were weird, myself included. So you've kind of surrounded yourself with those weird-ass kids, and, you just realize that they're just misunderstood, and, they didn't have a great family life growing up, so you kind of bond over those people.
Dude, it's so wild you're saying that because I was that exact same kid in high school. Like, I was the dude who could go to any friend group, like the jocks, the nerds, everybody. And, like, I could, like, hang out with them. I was a good hang no matter where I was. But I felt most at home with, like, the group of misfits that really didn't fit in anywhere else. All of the people who had these weird quirks about them, who are a little bit different, they seemed to have the best hearts out of everyone I was hanging out with. Because, you hanging out with the jocks and they all out there trying to flag with one another, whether it's arguing over a girl, getting into fistfights for it, or just trying to, like, be higher on the dominance hierarchy than you, so they're putting you down. But, like, when you get to that group of misfits and everyone's kind of got, like, a chip on their shoulder for one reason or the next, y'all can really come together and love in a way that's just not quite the same that I found in those other groups.
It's not. It's great, though. All those people had glow-ups, and they're all gorgeous now. Like, you know what I mean? It's so weird, dude. They're all gorgeous people. Some of them never grew out of it, but like it's a good like 1 to 3%. All those people had crazy glow ups, and they're all so much fun to interact with. And they found their place, and I mean, it blows that everything that we like now, everything that we liked then, was considered weird. And you got the shit kicked out of you, and you were bullied for it, and it was like just what the fuck. And now it's a trend. So like you really get to show all your knowledge, but like God, it feels like you went through all that shit for nothing.
Right? Yo, the biggest thing I have for that are those comic book nerds who like then it became Marvel Cinematic Universe. The biggest movies we have today used to be the nerdiest thing you could do. You were some shutting in your room reading comic books? What's wrong with you? Right? And now it's the biggest franchise you could possibly imagine. Like, yo, things have definitely changed, and I feel bad for those old-time nerds who had to suffer through that to get to where we are today.
Agreed. I absolutely agree with that. God, that shit's so much fun, dude. I always have good memories.
But yeah, so you hardcore gamer, you out there playing with the homies when they were over at your house. Were you ever like into sports at all? You ever go down that venue?
I played lots of soccer growing up, and then I switched to football, and then I stuck with football, and then high school hit, and my mom was the whole protecting type, so she was like, you're gonna get a concussion and die. And I was like, all right, whatever. So she was like, you gotta stop with your head. So I did, and I picked up track and field, and then after 2 years of that, I don't know. I just kind of one day during practice, I just kind of was like, I don't know why the fuck I'm here. And I left, and because I was doing the gym in between. So I was just like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I don't even get a benefit out of this. I'm not getting a scholarship. So I just stuck to the gym. I just switched full time to that. I was working since my sophomore year. So it was go to work, hit the gym, go home, go to school, start all over again.
Yeah, as long as you're doing something active, it doesn't matter what that is. Moving that body is what's really important.
Truth.
What'd you do in track?
Well, just dashes. I was a big fan of those.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was
so 100
that place
meter?
Humbles you. 100, 200.
Yeah, what were your best times?
Oh shit. I think I had for the 100 meter. God, they're not good. I had like a 12.5. It was like the best I ever ran. and like I had a friend. His name was, oh shit, I remember. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not gonna butcher it. He ran. I think it was an 11.1, and that's like Olympic style
Whoa.
type of dash, and it was nutty. Some of those kids are literally like getting ready for the Olympics right now.
Damn. Dude, that's awesome to at least like been on the track with them, you know? Yeah, I never did
Yeah.
hundreds. I did 40s because I was more of a football guy. So I started basketball. Basketball is still my love to this day. I
That's
will
real.
absolutely piece anyone up if you want to see me on the court. And then I switched over to football for a little bit. Wasn't a good home for me. I'm Filipino, so we got small Asian genes. So, you know, that wasn't where I was going to be. Though I was the quickest cornerback wide receiver. I could get 0 to top speed faster than anybody.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I varsity tennis in high school. So that's where I ended up. So a little bit of
Oh
everything, you know,
shit.
just having a good time out there having fun. Yeah.
Damn. I think my only experience of basketball was as a kid. I mean, as I said, it was divorced really young, around the same as you. One side, I won't say which, because there's no point, you know. One time it was like back and forth every other day to switch custody, and one
Oh
was like, "You're
no.
never leaving this room," with an alarm on the door, and the other one was like, "I really don't give a fuck what you do." And with that one, it was like, "Well, I'm gonna go outside." So it was just all the kids on the street. It's also how I snagged little like touches of gaming here and there until I convinced my family, to buy some. But you meet some really rich kids that get everything, and you get a little taste of that.
Oh my gosh.
Basketball was mad
Dude,
good
it
on the
was
street. Those kids.
yeah, it was such a dichotomy for me. You mentioned that. So my parents, it was on one side, I don't have the time for you, 100% neglect. Whatever you want to do, feel free to go do it. I'd go to the other household. It was a lot of verbal abuse, and then I don't have time for you. Go do whatever you want. So I had
Yeah.
a lot of free time to go figure myself out. And one thing I'd always do is I go over to my friend's house. Both of his parents were lawyers. Right? So he
Ooh.
had the pool in the backyard. He had a full
Oh, yeah.
basketball court in the backyard. He had an indoor trampoline. He had an outdoor trampoline. He had everything, right? Like the
Those people
world
are
was
crazy,
being
bro.
thrown at his feet. He was all-star of the basketball team because he had the private coach, every single day out there teaching him drills and whatnot. He was a star wide receiver in high school. Like he was the guy, one of my homies since elementary school. And one thing that has always plagued me. It's something that's never going to leave me. Is one day in high school, he was driving home from one of his ridiculous parties that he was throwing at his parents' cabin, right?
Yeah.
Bottles of liquor galore. He's driving home. It's 3 a.m. He is 80 miles an hour on a side road with no seatbelt.
Oh.
Deer walks into the road. He smashes into it. He tries to slam on the brakes, ends up losing control of his vehicle, flips several times, and doesn't make it out alive.
Oh. Dude, I'm
And
so sorry to hear that.
his memory just sticks with me. It's like, here's this kid who had the world at his feet, anything he could have ever wanted, and he squandered that opportunity. And here I am, his friend who's just been struggling this whole time,
Yeah.
and yet I'm the one still here. That kind of stuff leaves a mark on you. Didn't
It
think I was going to be
does.
telling that story today, but you got anything like that? You got anything like that locked in there?
Uh, yeah, I have a few. Not that I would speak about for their the sake of their memory, but loss is a crazy thing, and I don't think it'll ever get easy. And when it does, I think you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? I'm at that point where I'm starting to see my parents get of age. They're getting older. And even though things were tough in the past, I've got a good relationship with them now. And it's hard to see them deteriorate. And to anyone out there, yo, go give your parents a hug. They need it. They are only
Oh.
going to get worse from here. And it's hard to watch. So that's on my horizon. And as much as I try to build myself up and think I'm going to be prepared for it, I don't think there's anything you can do.
No, there's not, man. That loss is gonna hit you hard as hell, no matter what it is. And I think we're all terrified. Some people have sadly already experienced it. It's really weird, but you meet a lot of them on this game that have.
Yeah.
This game is trauma galore, and that's why some of the friendships fall apart, and the hypocrisy here is so fucking insane. But you meet lots of people that have gone through loss that you're terrified of going through.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely hard. And in some ways, it almost reminds me of you and I out there, at lunch in high school, out on the playground, finding that group of people who were quote unquote the misfits. I think you got to be a little bit off the norm if you're playing this game, to go in, get a headset, stick it onto your face, be in a room by
Yeah.
yourself, and jump into this world. It's just not mainstream yet. And I think a lot of those people have baggage that they're coming in with, whether it's losing somebody, some type of mental, social anxiety. And you can really see that and how it plays out in the relationships that are built here. And one thing I'm
Yeah.
really strong on is we need a lot of good people in this game. We need a lot of heroes. And Shellbie, I want to say, I've heard a lot of renown around your name. I've heard a lot of renown around you. Yeah, no, people are
Really?
giving you of the highest praise, man. For real, for real.
I
I
appreciate that. I
never
really
really got
do.
the chance to experience it personally until we really had the chance to sit down, but a lot of people are looking up to you, man. And I just want to know. So you are the leader of Night City, right?
Mhm.
I kind of hear what's going on from the outside, but I don't truly know. Why don't you explain to me what Night City is?
Night City is a positivity group that I created. I say the word I, but it originated, very dumb. We had a group chat called VR Chat Gang Shit. We made it a time, my first ever friends I had on VR. And, we kind of went from our friend group falling apart, coming back together over the years, and we just were like, let's make a group chat. And we did. And that's how the server started. And Cyberpunk Edge Runners came out. Oh my god. I'd been wanting to hear it because I like Cyberpunk. Had the fucking shittiest drop of any game ever. I bought it. I was so disappointed. I was so depressed because I had been looking forward to it. And got my whole squad down, and I was like, I don't want to watch it. I had done an all-nighter, so I was already like a mess. And they were like, sure, we'll watch it. 10 episodes. We sat there. By the end of it, we were sobbing. All of us, like in a call.
Man.
It was just one of those like, oh fuck, and they were all mad at me because I didn't know that it was gonna be that, and I put them on it. But we were like, fuck it, dude. Like, there's some mad messages here, and we've been looking to do something for a while, and I was like, let's make a group, and then I did. Our goals are my buddies, Mike, Dragon Mike, and Mr. Rotisserie, and me. We all had the idea, and then we came. There were some others in there, but they've left us, so we don't. I don't like speaking on names that ain't here, so.
Yeah.
But they're not here anymore. They're doing their own thing. But since then, we've created a positivity group. It's a family. We all know each other on a personal level. I know all their stories, or most of them. And, I help them any chance that they need it. And everybody in the server does that. My mods are wonderful people. And our goals are just to create a very close-knit family. And doing that means we have to spread positivity. I don't want any negative people in the group, Like, it's really hard to do that in this game. But
Yes.
we don't allow you if you rip. We don't allow you if you steal avatars. If you're doing crazy shit in, places that you definitely shouldn't be. If you hang around people you shouldn't be. We have lots of rules. But if you get past those rules and you put in an effort and you stay and you're active, you're a part of a family and you never want to leave. And we work really hard to be as positive as we can, help as many people as we can, no matter what. And raise money for charity. That's my biggest thing. And Nonico, I'm partnered with them now. I saw you did an interview with them. Night City and the Dragon Tier are officially partnered, so they help us a lot with charity, and they are some of the most positive people I've ever met.
That is awesome. And you're so right. It's hard to find the right people in a community like this. Maybe it's the pixels on the screen. Maybe it's the fact you could be semi-anonymous. But there's a lot of people out here looking to con you. Like, it's just a breeding ground for the sociopaths. And so how
weird.
do you delineate, between reputable people to keep around you versus the red flags of those that you should keep away?
So we have a couple of things that we do. So we have the Night City Recruits group. So we have you join that. We check your account. If we see crazy-ass mental illnesses in your bio, why are you broadcasting that? So I get why they are, but you shouldn't. That's private information. Let people learn that about you. Let people form a bond. ADHD is just something that I have, and you don't need to make it everything that you are. Trust me, they already see it. You don't need a disclaimer to know. So if we see crazy stuff, a lot of people fake disorders like DID. Sorry, someone messed up my hand. I don't know if you see that.
No, I don't.
That finger.
Oh.
It's all crunched. That's so weird. It wasn't like that yesterday. I just. Anyways.
Oh, wow.
ADHD proven, but it's. DID is really faked in this game. I get a lot of hatred for it, but if I see some crazy ass thing that I see only a 0.3% of the population has, there is no way that there is 1,000 people in this game that have it. There is no fucking way. It's a disrespect to those that have it, and trust me, you'll know if they do. So we don't let you in if you have that. You're instantly off the roster list. We yoinker check you. A yoinker check is something that someone made with VCX, which checks your account and see if you've ever uploaded a model from Ripper Store. If you scan for that, don't let you in. And we then read over everything and we group check you. Do you have some crazy ass groups? You probably shouldn't be around the group because there's kids here, and you're supposed to take care of them, be that older sibling that they need for, you're the reason they're growing up. They're growing up to be like you when they grow up.
Yeah,
You don't have to
100%.
moderate yourself, be you, but like, be that person that you had growing up, those kids that you looked at. So if you don't resemble someone that I want to be around, crazy groups from pedophiles and groups of doxers and such, we don't let you in. So I work really hard at making a paradise. People slip in that don't have those. We give you a trial period of a couple months, and there's never a moment where we won't take action if we feel like you were doing a bad person, or being a bad person. So we work really hard to keep it the way that it is.
Gotcha. So this is open to anybody who wants to join Night City. Like, if people were interested, how could they know more about it?
If they want to know more about it, I always have my video first pinned on my page. It talks about the group, what you can do to get in. You join my Discord server, and then we announce meet and greets in there. So the Discord server is just for me. And then once you go through all of that and you get into the interview meet and greet process, you then join Night City, which is a Discord server. It's just a group that we use to front in VR chat, but it's something we play more games than we do get on VR chat, hence why you never see me on. But I do some things in this game, but that's the bad learn. It's open to everybody unless you are a bad person. I've had some questionable people whose names I won't say that were just like, oh, well, you're not going to let me join. And it's like, have you seen what you post? No, not going to let you join. Like, you're the opposite of positive. Like, you call people out, you attack people, and this is like people everywhere, not a single individual. Like, or you just post like the most sexualized content I've ever seen, which there's nothing wrong with. Get the bag. But like, maybe you should consider your digital footprint if you're going to join this group.
Dude, that's such a good perspective on it. And one thing that grinds my gears probably more than anything else are the people at the top who are bad examples. Those who do not deserve the responsibility they have. Because what they don't realize is that it's so easy to get a following these days. And there's a lot of people who have these big followings and yet don't have the maturity level to back it up. So many people who are living these lavish lives on screen, trying to pretend to be these facades of positive and nice, and yet in the background, if the people only knew what they were doing, they would be wholeheartedly disgusted. It's those people who really grind my gears, man. And we need more heroes. We need more people to step up and be good examples and to be the role models for these kids on the come up. And Shellbie, that's one thing I wanted to ask about you, man. What do you think are the characteristics of those heroes that we need? What should we be striving for?
I think a big one is transparency. I'll start with myself. I mean, I'm going to keep it a buck, dude. If you don't think I do my own fair share of like, that guy's weird to like my friend group, of course I do. Like, I'm a human. Like, that's just part of human nature. But if you're going to say that bad shit and then you're not going to say it to their fucking face, you're a bad person. Real people shit talk you to your face. That is the only way that you ever create good people, is people who are just absolutely honest with you, straightforward, they don't hold back, and those people will change your friendships forever. They really will. You have to be careful with the friends that you make. There's so many backstabbers that claim like the sentence, what is it, I'm a nice guy, or it's just like most nice guys don't fucking say that. Like,
Yup.
Like most good people don't have to warn you that they're a great person. It's like, just come and find out. Like, it's a red flag to be like, no, I swear I'm the best person ever. It's like, you're fucking weird, bro. You're so weird.
100%. And one thing that's been on my mind, so this hasn't been on my radar in a hot minute, but blacklists. A lot of people have been coming up to me and talking to me about these right now. And I haven't formed an opinion yet. I don't know where I sit, but like enough people have been talking to me about blacklists for me to really start like forming an opinion. And so like I'm trying to search for like what they mean to me, my take on it. Like, so I'm going to pass that question off to you, Shellbie. Like, do you have a take on blacklists? Are they good for the community? Are they bad? Do they need work? Like, what are they?
I think they need work. I think that an appeal system should be in place every year or so. I think you should absolutely have a limit, because I have met some people who have been blacklisted. I've gone to the people who have made it after some time, and I'm like, yo, I'll vouch for them. You can put me up on that blacklist for shit talking or rumor spreading or whatever. You can put me up on there, but I vouch for this person. I think that they are changing, and they did change. I've only done it with one person, and they've changed, and they are the most amazing person I've ever met. And they were before, but they were doing bad things. They got caught for it, and then they had to deal with the consequences. But once you go through that process, you get better. You protect the community with blacklists, though. They're important. I mean, I started out, I didn't know who was who, and I had some crazy-ass people friended. And, I was talking with them, and then, I finally met my partners. Air quotes on partners, not romantic. But my community partners. And, they were like, why the fuck are you talking to that person? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, haven't you seen the blacklist? And I was like, no. And then you get to see what this person's really like. And because there's some things that you shouldn't be able to appeal from. If you've been messaging kids, fuck you. You're never getting a chance back. I don't care if you're changing. Like, find a different game. Like, you need to cut your losses. You fucked up. Get either legally prosecuted or leave. There's so many people that tried to stick around and go, I didn't do that, when they have so many things of them saying that they did. Blacklists have protected the community, but anybody can make one. Coming from me, I had a tassel with a person recently, and there was lots of information that didn't really add up from both sides, and there wasn't enough like exact proof. It was suggestive proof on both sides. And whether it was enough for me doesn't mean it was enough for other people. We've had a couple people I think I have a blacklist right now, from somebody who doesn't like me. And, I haven't really done anything wrong. So, we've all made mistakes. I think admitting those mistakes is the first step to getting a blacklist appealed. I mean, shit, everybody, and I'll probably get blacklisted randomly from service for this, but when you start out, people are like, yo, you don't want to spend money on avatars, do you? And it's like, you can buy avatars? And they're like, yeah, how do you think all these people look so cool? And I was like, I don't know. So that was a Quest for 3 years. And I was like, I thought they just found really good worlds and they're gatekeeping. Because when you start on Quest, everything is about avatar trading. Everything is about it. You got to get a cool avatar before it gets taken down. It's like, it's a part of the game. Like, you get on to find avatars. Yo, let's go avatar shopping. Like, that's all it was about. And, someone will pitch this idea to you, and they've pitched it to me, and it was, you ever heard of VR models? And it was, no. Oh my God, look at all this cool ass stuff for free. And, you're like, God, this is so good. There certainly couldn't be anything wrong with this. Anyways, but, it gets to a point where you actually meet the people after they tell you it's not really allowed, so just don't get caught with it. And you're like, I'm not going to get caught. So then you download these models. I totally have, and then I met an avatar creator, and they were like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, let me show you how long. And they sat me in a call, and I stayed there for the entire process of an avatar. And I was like, I feel like shit. I was like, God, like, you deserve your money. You need this to live. I'm so sorry. This is so wrong. And, since then, everything's been deleted, and I've proved it to my friends and stuff. And this was a long time ago, but, it's one of those things where you have to meet, like, things and understand why it's bad. I mean, I knew lots of people that did it and have recovered from it. And, they're great people now. I'm sure lots of creators in the community have agreed with what I'm saying. Like, it's just pitched as a really cool thing to you, and then you learn how bad it is.
Yeah, you hit a lot of good topics there, and the first one, I mean, like what you were just saying there, you just showed some accountability, some integrity with your actions, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. Like, if you're the type of person who's like doing something and then you realize that thing is bad and then you stop doing it, that to me is a mark of a good person. The more times you could be self-accountable to yourself, the better that situation, the better of a person you are, not just to yourself, but to the greater community. On top of that, that first thing you mentioned, where blacklists need to have some type of appeal process. Honestly, I haven't heard that yet, but I really think that is invaluable to the structure of the way we have it. I know so many people personally who have been put on blacklists for honestly minor things. Smaller issues where it's like, yeah, they bunked up, definitely the case, not going to argue about that. But is that really something that's worth a lifetime ban? I don't think so. And there's no refresh process to get these people back in. And then you were also talking about like unforgivable sins, which I think there's definitely a case for that. Like, if there are like a 10 commandments, a list of things that are 100% irrefutable, if there's proof of you are on a blacklist, what should those things be?
Unrefutable. Oh, I think touching kids is the main one always.
100%. Let's put that one on the board.
Always. I think, it's such a hot take. I think drama starting is a big one. I know that's really crazy.
Tell me about it.
So
Tell me about it.
A lot of people, there's just those kinds of people that just like to watch everything stir up, everybody fall apart. And they like to take advantage of everyone. It's like, those people just shouldn't be, like, if those people entered my community, they would tear everything apart. So, those blacklists just do help. I don't think they're unforgivable, but those are one of those things where certain things should have a longer appeal. You can't change so quick. Like, it takes time. I've met people who are like, oh no, I changed. It's just them deleting everything and hiding everything because they can't get what they want. And we have a member, or had, I won't say their name, because what happens in Night City stays that way. And that's a really big thing that we believe on. If it gets really bad and they continued what they were doing, but they've been harassing us for the past 6 months or so. And, I think there's even an anti-Night City group right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it has the craziest bio too. But like, it's because they got caught. They weren't sorry for what they did. They were sorry that they got caught. And we gave them the opportunity to change, and we gave them a message, and they were like, you threatened me. You did all this fucking stuff. You're such a bad person. Here's this proof and that proof, and there's just nothing in it. And it's like, why are you doing this? Like, we told you that we were okay. That, it was just, like, I love you. You're an amazing person. You just got caught doing a bad thing. Change, and you're always welcome back. And they send that message to everyone we know.
Wow. And
they're like, they kicked us out. Like, they don't even care for, like, you can be nice however you want, but drama starting people will throw it in your face. I can only be nice to so many people, I'm a nice person. I always give second chances, but if you fuck up my second chance, I will never let you live it down.
And there's so many people here aimed at the destruction of others. I can't tell you the number of times where I've been working with, not Night City, but an organization such as you guys, and people will come chammering into my DMs going, oh, do you know what this person did? Here, let me show you. And all they're aiming at is to tear down the name of somebody, to tear down an organization. They are in it for blood. They are in it for chaos. They are in it for the drama. And to those people who want to see this community burn, they are not on my team. They are not on the side of those of us who are trying to build something beautiful here. And we got to be very aware there are bad actors at play.
Oh yeah, there are so too many. I wish I had words for it. I don't. So many people will hit you up like, have you heard about this? Can you blacklist them for me? And it's like, why the fuck is this my problem? Not in a way where I don't want to help. I'm always here to help. Maybe you should take it up with the person, not with me. I don't know you. You don't know who I am. You picked on me because I got numbers on my name. Numbers which are very insignificant, by the way, in the grand scheme of TikTok, and they just loom it over you. They're like, like, people just want to tear everything apart. I don't care. I'm not here to, protect different communities. I'm here to fix it. I'm here to show what a good community is like and what the impact can be on VR chat. And the Dragons tier is the same. They're a lovely community, and they also want to change this game. Hence why we partnered. They're such amazing people, and that's why we partnered up, so that we could change the player base of this game. People aren't going to like that. They're going to fall apart. They're going to fight us over it. If they got a problem with us, they're going to have a problem with the other, and back and forth, endless drama, and it's just so annoying. You just can't make peace in peace.
I gotta say, from the outside, I was very concerned Night City was going to be one of those groups. Not that I had heard anything about you guys in particular, but because of the institutions that have come before you guys.
Oh my God.
There have been towers that have fallen for any number of reasons of debauchery, lies, and deceit, and I was so concerned Night City was going to be the next one. But I gotta say, Shellbie, sitting down and talking to you about this stuff, you seem like you got a good head on your shoulders. You seem like you're aiming in the right direction, which is a far cry from what I've heard from the previous institutions.
Oof. I've met a lot of people in those institutions, and I have to say they're some of the most lovely people. And once you meet them, and you've met a couple of them too, where it's like, God, how the hell did that happen? And It's just because everybody preys on your downfall. And Night City isn't going to last forever, and I'm certainly not going to pitch it like it is. It'll end one of these days for sure. But, it's not right now. I don't have plans to keep this going forever or to transfer ownership. Like, once it's done, like, that means I'm done. It's not
how are you
pass the mantle.
And how are you doing with that? I mean, it's so difficult these days to just the time constraint with all of the other demands of life to keep up with something like this. Like, is it burning you out? Are you stressed, burning the candle at both ends? Like, how are you managing it all?
I'll say I have a fucking excellent mod team. I had the lovely pleasure of meeting Alexandre and Nanako, and Nanako's been some of the best advice I've ever had, and Alex takes matters into her own hands as always, and she's taught us more than anyone ever could, and because of that we've become really functional. When a problem pops up, we deal with it in a day or two, or we deal with it in that moment. We don't let things fester. We don't let them build. We, if I didn't have close people around me like that, then I would be done long before this.
Wow. And so it's surrounding yourself with that good of a team to just keep yourself going. So what are some of your day-to-day responsibilities holding down something like Night City?
To be honest, they handle a lot, but I'm the face for everything, and my videos get the most traction and everything because I'm one of the bigger owners, and I put my heart and soul into everything that I can, but I burn out a lot because of it. there I would be lying to you if I didn't say, like, because of things that happened yesterday, which I can't talk about. I was like, God, do I really want to do this? Like, I don't know if I want to get on for this like podcast. And it's like, ugh. But I'm gonna regret it if I don't, because I really fuck with you. And I was like, so let's just push past it. And now I'm here. And I'm having a great time. That's caused even with a great game is inevitable. But we make our schedules. We post it up. We do 4 or 5 things a week. They're not mandatory. Sometimes I don't even show up. Sometimes they don't even show up. But they're just things in the VC, hanging out, maybe watching a movie, like a movie night, a game night, like just things like that. Sometimes we do Collabs to Dragons tiers for adults, drinking nights. Like, we have those back and forths of just hanging out. And one of these days we'll do like a bigger one and let all the creators in and stuff, have a good sit down. But, dealing with this stuff is never going to be easy. But if you think it's going to be easy, you shouldn't be here.
100%. It is hard work running Discords, being a member of the community, having your own TikTok. I want to talk to you a second about that, man. You've got some of the most creative, innovative stuff. Hell, you just won a 2 VRC awards, one for most innovative creator and best community. Bro, tell me about your content. I want to hear about it.
God, there's not enough niches in VR chat. Everybody does the same thing. We have creators, and this is no diss on those people. They're lovely. We have creators that jump on do it to the sound, wonder where the growth is, and they only pull 600 views a video. You got to find your niche. Or make it pretty. Look at Mars. Look at Eclipse. Look at Hypervoid. They do sounds, and oh my God, their videos are sick because they do them so well, and that's why they have a nice community and numbers to back it up. They put in effort, and it shows. Dancing and creating a video isn't enough effort. Putting in that work and making a good quality product is that. Not many people talk in VR chat, even though it's all about talking, because everyone has social anxiety. Everyone talks about their problems in this game, but they don't do it openly. So I was like, you know what? What if I just do all of that? I got friends. Don't even look at my older videos. They're so rough. But the newer shots that I have are gorgeous. They're really good, and I have friends help me with that. That's where they're good. I'm not very good. And then I talk over it. I make a script. I get music, beautiful shots that, like, damn, I really wish I had a friend group or people that I could talk to like that. And, I encourage you to get help if you're struggling, because so many people on this game do some of the most cool shit, whether that's faking things or being in severe mental, disabilities and then just not doing anything about it. It's disgusting, And I get why they're scared, but, I get that you don't think therapy works, but that's because you're not listening. Therapy will always work if you put in your effort, or you at least listen to what they have to offer you to make things easier. You have depression. I know anxiety attacks are really big. Ask them for things that can help you with those. Things like that. You can get little things that'll help you. If you didn't want to talk to them about your problems, but you just wanted help with certain things, they're great for everything. And I just recommend that people go do it. That's all my content is.
And something you do great with your content is make it relatable. One thing I hear 1,000 times, both from the people who are killing it right now to people who are just starting out, is they want to make relatable content. And I think you've struck a chord, a beautiful chord, where you're really resonating with the community, with the stuff and the topics that you talk about. Whether it's mental health, surrounding yourself with good people, whatever it be, you really have a good beat on where this community is and the direction we need to be going. Like, what are some of the bigger topics that you bring up consistently that you think are in that pulse?
Everybody's depressed on this damn game. It's so easy. Pick up something of depression. It's not that hard. What's something that everybody wants? To be heard, to be listened to. Give that to them. If you copy my content and you don't tell me, you're a bad person. If you like my content, let's collab. There's so many things that you can do. I'm only gonna say no if you're a bad person. That's the only way I'm gonna say no. And more people just need to realize that creating something that you want to watch is the best way to make content. Creating stuff for people just ain't it. I'm glad you think that it was funny or it was a good video, but if you showed it to your squad, how would they feel? Would they like that, or would they be like, okay, you could use a little bit of work. Listen to them. If you can't please the people around you, you're not going to please the people on VR chat, and you're going to get low views. Being relatable.
Part of that is honing the craft too. Each time you make a video, make your next one just a little bit better. Find something you can improve. You don't need to become Picasso overnight. Your job is to incrementally get better. Stay in the game, stay disciplined, get to a schedule, keep posting, keep figuring it out. It's a skill just like anything else. Whether that's, playing football, playing basketball, being an artist. You really got to figure out what your trade is. And honestly, for me, I'm in kind of a weird boat. I'm looking around going, how many people are doing podcasts on TikTok? Like,
True.
who can I go learn from, bro? Like, I'm out here looking. There's been a couple people I've been trying to collab with who are like other podcasters, but it seems as though every time I reach out to them, they're closing business. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
Please.
This game changes so much. You'll notice that everything about this game is like, I don't have enough time. I gotta get going. You see it in relationships, which, no offense to those out there, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, take time. Like, they're not going anywhere. Everything, you have so much time. Something my dad always told me. My dad is very successful, and he said, you have your entire life to work. You might as well figure out what you want to do before you do it for the rest of your life.
Bang.
And you know, since he did that, he applied that to my school as well. He has never seen me fail. He was really baffled, and he was like, you know, I didn't tell you, but, you know, I didn't do it either. Like, I failed. You have your whole life to learn everything. Take your time. It's not going anywhere. And people really need to apply that to everything that they can. That girl that you like, put a little bit of effort here and there. You don't gotta bag her right away. You don't even know who she is. Wait to figure that out before you ruin your life because you were not paying attention, because you were too focused on moving too fast. Like, too many people just don't do that in this game, but time is everything, and you just need to take it slow. It's the best way for you to learn, for you to grow, to create meaningful relationships. You don't got to form everything in a day. You don't got to find a VR mom or dad. Have you tried repairing the ones with your real life ones yet before you get fake ones? Like, people just need to put a little bit more effort in this game. It's very lazy, very quick, very always changing, because people aren't willing to settle.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that echoed not only in this game, but just the younger generation coming up. Like, I feel so bad for them because they're used to that instant gratification. They don't know what it's like to harvest, to really pour your time into something like growing a plant that will take seasons before it's ready. And when it comes to relationships, man, you cue in on such a good point there. Like, these kids, whether in the game or not, are jumping into these relationships way too fast. They selling themselves out before they even know what it means, before they even know who the other person is. They're already saying, hey, do you want to be mine? And the problem is that they haven't built that foundation yet. They don't know who each other are. So as soon as conflicts come and it becomes work, which all relationships 100% are, they are quick to grab their bag and go and find the next available person because they don't even know what commitment is. So to anyone out there, I gotta say to you, if you are seeking a relationship, don't jump into it right away. Don't start it on Monday and end it on Thursday. Spend your time with the person. Get to know who they are. Build that friendship first. See if you guys have things you actually like to do. If you have interests in common. If you enjoy each other's company despite everything else going on. Spend the time together. Figure each other out, and then when you're ready, start that relationship. But that being said, Shellbie, do you have any other advice for people out there? Red flags, green flags, and relationships?
Oof. I'm not the best guy to be asking about this, but I got a 6-month rule. If they can't just be your friend for 6 months, they ain't even worth the time. If they can't settle down, stop fucking around just to really get to know you, be best friends, build that like natural, like, I think I really like you type bond. It's just not worth it. I'm against dating in VR chat. I'm not against the relationships that are made. I'm against how people treat others when they do it. There are so many people that we've seen that are successful, that made it out the game, that dropped the game, and they're together forever. And yes, there are those stories, but that's a good 3% of the rest of it. Like, there's the 97 other percent. What do you mean you cheated on me in game? Do you not love me? Oh, that instant gratification, that new person that comes through, that fills that void that you're needing. And the people where you meet them and it just doesn't work out, but you really want it to. I'm just against dating in here. The people are psychopathic. They're just narcissists. They want everything from you right away. They don't know how to treat you. They don't know how to love you. The women will sit there and go, but he loves me. And it's just like, bro, I literally saw him with someone else last night when he told you that he wasn't even anywhere. Like, you gotta fucking, like, don't stalk them, but form a healthy relationship. If you see a fucking red flag, talk about it. If they don't change it, leave. They're not your forever. Not right now. If you're seeing these things, there is no, I can change him. You don't. Every grandparent you've ever talked to was never like, yeah, he used to beat me when we got together, but now we're perfect. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you never get out of it. Like, if he is abusive now, he's going to be abusive then. Same with the women. Just because she loves you doesn't mean it's just not her natural state of hurt. If you've asked her to change and she doesn't, she's not going to change for you. She's not ready to. cut your losses, move on. Tell her you love her, and then live your life. There will be others who will treat you. You are never too much. You are never too needy. I stand by that. You just meet people who are easily overwhelmed. And because they get overwhelmed, they tell you you're too much when it's just not the case.
And something I heard this lesson when I was younger, and I thought it was bullshit at the time, but the more I've sat on it, the more I think it's true. The idea that every relationship you get into takes a piece of you. Like, if it falls apart and it all goes awry, you are not back to who you were before. A part of you is going to be different. You're going to be a little more jaded, a little more resentful, a little more suspect of the next person you're going to be with. It's going to warp your vision of what a true partner is supposed to be, better or worse. More often than not worse. And the problem with that is relationships now are frivolous. Oh, yeah, I'll get into a relationship, sure. You don't understand the consequences. You don't know that what you're doing is putting your heart on the line, and every single time it gets broken, it's going to be harder to do that again. Mm-hmm. And it's just these relationships that are doomed from the get, yet people are so blind to even see it that they are running in headlong again and again, just waiting for more pain to come their way. If only they would be implementing things like a 6-month rule. If they would be more scrupulous to the people that are coming into their lives. One thing I want to add to that is there are so many people who don't understand their value. So many people who have such a low self-esteem, such a low perspective of themselves that they would run into the arms of any Joe Schmo instead of saving themselves for the right person. And I think that is rampant. I don't think there's enough confidence. I don't think there's enough self-esteem in the people who play this game. I just want y'all to know you are worth more than you could understand. And if only you would step outside yourself and save yourself for the right person, you would truly understand what a real relationship is.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Hella. A lot of people, there are people where they see, how do I even explain this? There are people who will see, well, we match up. So why don't we? All those things are there. Yes, but my future doesn't line up with yours. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's talk about it. Are you willing to give this up? And if you say yes just because you love me, that's manipulation. You're going to hold that against them for the rest of your life. And you're attacking them by doing that. So even though you guys have that perfect bond, some people are just not willing to sacrifice that bond for the sake of seeing if it's that. I'm so specific on the way that I do relationships and love, and all I do is take care of people, and it's all I care about. But if I don't have that person that knows I need taken care of, then it's never going to work. I have to make sure they fit my views, they fit my parents' views, and if they're a person where I don't care if they fit my parents' views, they fit mine, then I'll do it too. But, you know, if it's online, I'm very cautious. Things can go awry. When you have a love language, being long distance can really fuck you up. And mine is like physical touch and like understanding that they know that I just need them there. And if they're online, a screen isn't enough, and I just feel like I'm suffering.
That's devastating, man. And you got to know your partner's love language. And this is something pivotal. People don't understand this. Here might be one of the most important things in a relationship alongside things like honesty, right? When your partner does something you like, when they do a thing that you enjoy, reinforce that. Do something they enjoy in return. If they give you something, and whether it's a gift, whether it's a compliment, whether it's a cup of coffee, and you really appreciate it, make sure to positively reinforce that. Whatever it is that their love language is, give them a piece of that in return. You will be amazed at the amount of reciprocity that will begin to feed into your relationship, and it's only going to grow from there. That's one of the biggest tips I have. And Shellbie, if you're getting like specific, what are some other like tips you would give? Like what are some other good games to play in a relationship?
Oof, I think the positive reinforcement one that you mentioned is like, it's everything. Like, as much as I hate saying this because a lot of people view it as a red flag, like, or flag, you train your partner. That is how a relationship works. You match up, you're perfect, and you train each other to be each other's everything. If you give you something, you go, I really like that. Or maybe you go, hey, I'd really like to try this. And if you don't, that's okay. I'm willing to put it to the side. This is not a, I need this. It is a, if you're interested, I'd be down. That applies to dates, things in the bedroom, anything. It's so important to be open with your partner, and you stop holding back. Stop worrying if they think you're weird, bro. Like, you're already dating. It's too late. They know you're fucking weird. Like, just stop tripping. Like, be that weird. That's what they want from you. Like, so many people put up this fake image of them because they're scared you're gonna leave, or they're scared they're not gonna like the real you. It's like, yes, but then we're falling in love with a person that you're not.
Yes.
A lot of people end those relationships in VR chat because that super high, like frivolous girl that's like really there and all that, and some of those dudes really like that, and they get into it, and then they really settle down, and they're like, no, like I really don't want to do anything, and you're like, who the fuck are you? It's because they gave you this fake image of themselves, and guys do it all the time. I just say women because that's my experience with it. Guys do it more than girls, swear. They there's always this fake image that's there in the first couple of months. So when you do 6 months of that, it's really hard for them to keep it up unless they got some type of disorder. And there's some people that do. But the people who are just honest with you and give you everything that they want, and they just tell you everything. They're like, dude, you want to make me happy? Here's this. Stop saying I don't know. Sit down, say, help me find out. Then you go through a bunch of things. You figure it out. Like, I get the trauma. I get that it's scary, but don't let other people's scars affect the person you want to love to the fullest now. It's going to be hard, but it takes effort from both sides, and you have to let that be known.
I have a great story on this, and it's probably the thing that has made my relationship as good as it is. So me and my girl have been together for 6.5 years now, fiancés, and she is everything I could have ever imagined and more. And if I could point to one moment that like made our relationship, it was early on, and this is what it was. You just meet your partner, you're getting to know them, right? You're on a couple dates at this point, you just became official, you're probably like 2 months in, and me being who I was trying to put on a fake front. You know, I don't have any weaknesses. I'm super awesome. You should definitely be dating me over anybody else. Hiding all of my insecurities, right? Trying to be Mr. Everything. There was one night where she starts texting me and she just starts laying out every single one of her weaknesses. She goes, hey, if we're going to be in this together, here's what you need to know. Here's what I struggle with. This and this and this and this. If you are serious and you want to make this a long-term thing, these are my struggles. These are my weaknesses. And I want to make you aware of it so that you know what you're getting into. Mm-hmm. That absolutely broke me. That broke me. Because here I was putting on a facade, putting on a face, thinking that I needed to lie about who I was to win this girl over. Meanwhile, she is responding with nothing but brutal honesty. It was at that moment that I realized that when the chips are down and when things are tough, she's going to be honest with me. If she could be honest with me here, she will be honest with me always. And now we are 6.5 years later in the best relationship I could possibly imagine, with a wedding on the way, baby. Let's go.
Damn, congrats. Holy shit, that's awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, honesty is such a big role in relationships, and I'm wondering if you've had anything to that tune.
Oh, I haven't had too many successful relationships. I've had a few relationships, and they didn't end too well. But someone came back, and it was like a very long 3.5 to 4 years. And I started to notice a problem with myself, and that's I'm not entirely sure I know what love is. And not from a negative perspective, but in a perspective that really altered me, where I finally broke. I can deal with so much. Nothing will stop me. It was constant berating, attacking. They didn't know how to give it to me, so they would fucking explode at me. And they did this for 4 years because they thought it was the only way that I would listen. And I have, a really bad reaction to that. And, it just made me realize when I finally broke after 4 years of that and smiling and holding them and being like, it's okay. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I shattered. And that was the one time after we finally broke up, and then we came back and we talked to each other after 3 months, that I think I've ever seen someone be so honest. She wasn't anything like the girl I had known over those years, and she was so scared, but now there wasn't anything else to lose. So I finally got to, really put myself out there and watch them put themselves out there. I don't recommend doing it that way, but that's the only time I've really seen, honesty like that, and I hope I get a taste of it in the future. But, when people say that they can go forever, they can. They can go forever with your help. Tell them you're sorry. Tell them that you love them. Make it up to them, however that is for you. Make it up to them in a way where they actually feel like you're sorry. And even though you're going to do it again next week because you can't help it, let them know that, but know that you don't mean it when it's happening. Not a lot of people put down that reinforcement, and it breaks a lot of people.
Yes. And alongside with honesty, I'll talk about relationships and ask people what they think the most important thing in a relationship is. And they'll say honesty. It's probably one of the biggest ones up on the board. But one that goes overlooked often, I think, is fairness. One thing my girl taught me was the importance of being fair. And here's what I mean by that. She will advocate to make sure I get 50%. She will go to her lengths to make sure I'm getting an even cut of whatever deal it is. And that blows me away. Because oftentimes in a relationship, you're going to try to do something sneaky, something underhanded that's going to give you a bigger slice of the pie, right? You want to get a little bit more out of it than what you're putting in. She advocates on my behalf. And because of that, I have to do the same thing. I am so compelled to do the same thing for her because that's the way she treats me. And I think fairness is something that definitely goes under the radar when you're considering good relationships.
Agreed. I I think it's pretty crazy that you guys can even do that. My view on relationships is it's not always going to be 50-50, Mine is like a very heavy enforcement that a lot of the times it could be 90-10, it could be 60-40. It's always going to fluctuate, but you look at it like two glasses of water. They all start with a little bit at the bottom and you just pour. Make sure you return it. Always make sure you return it. Never keep it. You always got to make sure that, they know that you do love them. And sometimes people like myself really suck at letting those people know that. Because I'm, had that same moment that a lot of guys do where she was like, you're way too needy. And they just left me. And I was like, what am I doing? And I really closed myself off from everything. And that's just, then all the way that you're raised as a male takes over because it enforces everything that they told you when you thought you could be honest. And it really tears you apart. And, you got to put in effort to work out of that. A lot of women talk to guys about that all the time, and I know you've heard it too, and it's the way men are raised really affects relationships today because they've evolved and they're different than how they used to be.
Yeah, and I think it's a rush to the bottom as far as standards go. One thing women don't understand is that a man wants a woman who is pure and loyal. He doesn't want some lady who's out there trying to be the best she could be in the sense that, oh, I'm stronger than you, I'm more mentally stable than you, I've got all these other things on you. He just wants somebody who, at the end of the day, once he's broken his body against the earth, someone to come home to, who will treat him with tender, loving care, compassion, and love. Like, those are the attributes that I think I've gone so unseen these days and are the last on the list of priorities. And women don't realize it. Women think that being the badass femboss is the way to go, and it's like not necessarily the case. There are 1,000 other attributes more important than that, and they're right there for the taking if only you had the morals to see it.
I agree with that statement. I really do. I mean, toxic masculinity is a real thing, and people like Andrew Tate and others have really given that a really bad name. And not that they don't spit some facts sometimes, but a lot of it is very misogynistic and very unhealthy. Like I'm learning that it's okay. Like, dog, like just be fucking honest about how you feel. Like she's gonna love you. Like tell her you're hurting. Like she'll do that for you if she's a real woman.
Ladies like it.
You don't gotta play that.
Ladies like it when you're emotionally available. They love it. They want to have that emotional connection with you. But guys, they have their walls up. They're like, no, you're not getting into this walled fortress. One of the most beautiful things is my girl broke that for me. Like, I was very much stonewalled, that horrible upbringing. You've heard pieces of it. And it's like, I don't want to get my emotions on anyone else. My emotions are my emotions. Yet slowly but surely, she's chipped away at those walls until they were broken. And I got to tell you, a good woman is somebody who's going to open you up emotionally. And you, as a man, as a good boyfriend, a good husband, ought to be there to receive it.
Agreed. I very much agree with that statement. God, man. You guys sound like you got a good thing going. Jealous, man. I'm so proud of you. That's great shit. One day, man.
Well, thank you. And
one day.
I got to give it to her. She is seriously the rom-com. All she watches, like 90 Day Fiance, everything love associated. That is her content. That's her world. And she teaches me these lessons. It's very weird to think of it that way because I've always thought of myself as a pretty smart guy, good grades in school, always cunning. But at the end of the day, when it comes to relationships, I'm a fool. And I understand that. And she is my teacher every single time we got a moment. So that's a big one for me. So I actually got to get out of here, believe it or not. I got an out. I actually, my girl is right now at an event. She's at a concert, sitting at a booth, and I'm gonna go give her flowers. So I gotta get moving. Gotta get out of here. But,
what? Oh, dude.
Yeah, speaking about that positive reinforcement, man. You gotta do it, man.
Crazy.
You gotta
Great
do
shit,
it,
bro. Proud of you.
I just want to say thank you for being here. Shelby, you want to give a plug? Let people know who you are.
I'm Shellbie VRC. My Instagram is awful. My YouTube is awful, but my TikTok's pretty okay. If you're interested in Night City, watch the first pinned video on my page. It's worth.
And again, man, I just want to thank you for coming out, sitting down, and doing this podcast. You seem like an absolutely upstanding guy, and I look forward to hanging out with you in the future, man.
I appreciate that. Of course. We'll definitely do that. I just need to get on at an earlier time to catch you.
Sounds good, dude. All right. Have a good one, everybody.